this out.
Boom, in the full screen.
Oh, we can't
You ain't
see
going to see it up there.
Right.
Hey, what is up, y'all? We are here in the Grind Time shop, folks. Hanging out. Season 5. Welcome to the brand new studio.
Yo.
We are getting ready to do the damn thing. We're just checking some last-minute levels, making sure everything's sounding good, looking good.
Oh, yeah, dude. It sounds great. Looks great. The whole thing.
All right, good deal.
Cool.
Well, like I said, y'all, welcome to the new Together We Print podcast studio here located at Grind On Me Drive. So
Trademark.
We've been working on this for a while. Very excited to officially bring the live stream of the podcast over to YouTube. It's been something that we've been working on for a while, and we're really excited about it. So we're going to give a few minutes just to let some people hop in here, make sure everything's going good.
Share
and then
the
we're going to get ready to launch straight into this thing. We got a jam-packed episode. Special guest Anton LaPlume in studio for the very first in-studio live interview on the Together We Print podcast. This whole season is actually going to be chock full of them. So we'll talk a little bit more about that here in a few minutes. Like I said, we're going to share out this link a little bit, give a few minutes just to get some viewers inside the live, and then we'll go ahead and start getting rolling through this thing. If y'all have not checked out recently the YouTube until now, if you ain't been checking it out in the last couple weeks, thank y'all very much for helping us cross 1,000 subscribers.
Woo!
Give yourselves a round of applause. Yeah, we are officially, I think, getting close to like 1,200 now. So we went ahead and blew right through that 1,000 goal for the end of the year, and now we're kicking it into 2022. Like I said it in a video not long ago. I'm not really going to set a goal for 2022 yet.
Not yet.
I don't want to be heartbroken.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not going to say we're going to.
I mean, we're already jumping up pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like it's the numbers aren't bad, you know. Our goal was 1,000, and right now we're sitting close to 1,200.
Yeah.
So
no.
I mean, it's not a bad start.
No, definitely not. I mean, we've definitely accomplished a lot of what we were trying to accomplish this year last year as far as just growing the YouTube channel and everything all together. And y'all were fantastic last year. So, again, thank y'all very much. We appreciate it. Make sure you're sharing out with your friends. The Together We Print podcast now live recording the Friday before it goes out. We'll be giving y'all dates via social media, Instagram, Facebook, telling you who the guests are. But we'll be doing the live recordings here in studio on the Friday before the podcast actually goes live on Spotify, Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, or wherever else you get your podcast. And I see my wife is in the chat. What's up, baby? What's up, girl? You look good. So, yeah, like I said, we're going to get ready to do this thing here in a minute. Let me share out this link. So I'm doing it. We appreciate y'all coming in a few minutes early before we get this thing rolling. Boom. It was right there. I already shared it.
We own it, bro.
Made it real easy for me. It was the first thing on my feed. All right, so okay. All right, you about ready?
It won't let me tag Anton on the Grind Time page.
Sometimes it's weird with tagging personal pages from business
I'm
pages.
just going to have to write his name in.
It's all good. I'll share it anyways. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm sharing it all on my end. So.
Perfect. All right, sweet. I shared it. Boom.
I'm just doing it from the Grind Time page now.
All right, y'all. We're going to get ready to do it. Going to get ready to start this thing. Let me get my little notes pulled up here. And we'll get ready to roll right into this
Should
thing.
I publish this in the Rogue Printers group? It just asked me if I wanted to do that.
I don't do that because I don't want them to feel like it's like a spammy thing.
That makes sense. Okay.
I've thought about it before.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and get a sponsor thrown up here. Boom! Proudly sponsored by Allegiance Roof Systems. Thank y'all very much. If you need a new roof and you're in the Jacksonville area, check out our boys at Allegiance Roof Systems.
Whoop, whoop.
They're going to hook you up with a good roof. Going to last a long time, all right? So we got them up. I think we are about ready to get this thing kicking. Alan, you ready?
Ready as I'll always be.
Okay. I should turn the metronome off, but that's okay. Oh, nope.
We got to make sure we record in time.
Okay. Let me make sure all the programs are recording.
Yeah, exactly.
Come on now. All right. Logic is live. We are good to go there. Turn these, mute these.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. We're going to get ready to go ahead and kick this thing off. We appreciate y'all coming over and hanging out with us over here on YouTube. As always, smash that share button. Get it out to your friends. Leave a like and a comment. Let us know y'all here. Jen, we see you. Happy New Year, Jen. We appreciate y'all being here. Like I said, with that being said, we're going to go ahead and get ready to launch right into this thing. So thank y'all very much. And the Together We Print podcast season 5 is about to start right now. All right. You ready?
I wanted to have the live on here so I could see the chat and stuff.
Yeah. You ready?
Let's do it.
All right. What is up, y'all, and welcome back to the Grind Time Shop for Season 5, Episode 1 of the Together We Print podcast, going live over on YouTube.
That's it.
So for those of y'all who aren't aware, we have brought the live recording of the podcast over to YouTube for Season 5. You can catch it on the Friday before the podcast goes live on audio services the following Monday. But we got a special guest today.
We do.
We got an interview in studio, brand new studio. We hope y'all think it looks good.
Yeah, we put a lot of effort into this, so
Yeah,
hopefully you guys like it.
We did. Amazon was a huge help in this. But that being said, why don't you go ahead and kick back and relax. The Grind Time Together We Print podcast season 5 starts right now. All right, and we are back, y'all. The new studio.
Yes.
Right off rip. Got to talk about it. New studio looking fantastic. Fantismo.
Fabuloso.
I love Fabuloso. It smells fantastic. Yeah, we've put a lot of time and effort. As y'all know, the last couple seasons have all been kind of like us at a desk with a camera putting at us and one microphone, and then for a little while in the beginning of the podcast, we had a couch over here.
Oh, man, if you were there in the early days, you've seen some.
It had a very
rough
casting
look to it.
couch vibe to it in here with some purple lights
That's
and an
why this
IKEA
is-
couch, you know.
That's how we got the Grind On Me Studios.
Grind on Me Studios. But yeah, we've been trying kind of over the last few seasons to just kind of improve everything we're doing in here. And with a huge thanks to a lot of incredible sponsors that y'all are going to hear about this season, we were able to kind of do exactly what we wanted to do in here and turn this thing into the actual studio we've been looking for. So very excited to be here. Very excited to have our first in-studio live guests. As y'all know, in Season 4, you may not know, you go back, Episode 1, we did do a guest interview in Atlantic City.
The whole goal was for what we're about to do in Season 5 to be done in Season 4. When we started with Season 4, Episode 1, with our guests in Atlantic City, and it just never happened from there, so we made sure Season 5 now is got guests on almost every episode. So very exciting. We'll be dropping those guests over on Facebook, Instagram. We'll be dropping the dates for y'all so you can make sure that you keep up to date with everything going on. But as always, the best way to never miss an update, go ahead and smash the mess out of that subscribe button, leave a like, and turn your notifications on so you're notified every single time we upload a new video or go live over here on the Grind Time channel. That's right.
So yeah, moving right on into what we've been up to.
Well, the studio for one.
The studio is a big part of it. So obviously we took a little break right around the end of Season 4 and through the holidays, and it's kind of one of those things where for those of y'all who've been around for a while, you're aware me and Alan wear many different hats throughout the week, and there's a lot of different things going on. So it makes it hard to always have the time to do the things we want to just do leisurely. You know, celebrate holidays, spend time with family, because we're always really here or at our day jobs or at our side jobs or whatever. So we were able to take a little bit of time off at the end of season 4. We got all our customer jobs caught up here in the Grind Time shop. And we just told everybody that was putting in new orders, they're not going to get printed until the beginning of the year because we're going to take some time to just be dads and enjoy the holidays with our kids and our families, which was a very much needed break. But we were here still. I mean, so like,
that's how we got the studio.
It's
done.
like we took a break, but we had some admin days, you could call them.
Yeah, I guess that's a good way to put it.
It's like, hey, you want to meet me at the shop? I'll grab a Bojangles biscuit and we'll set up the studio kind of thing. And it worked out good. So, things are starting to look obviously well here. The YouTube channel, going to go ahead and say it again. Big thanks to everyone who helped us cross the 1,000 subscriber mark. That's been a major goal of the channel for the last 2 years since the beginning of the channel. And pretty cool that we finally made that happen. Very excited to move the podcast live recordings from Facebook to over here. So it's going to be awesome. But we did take that break and kind of just got to hang out around the house. Some of the you got to do a lot of stuff with Jackson. I got to take Charlie to the zoo. I don't even know I didn't know what the zoo looked like on a Wednesday. You know what I'm saying? I've never been there on a Wednesday. I'm assuming it looks a lot like Fridays, but zoo, yeah, it was less people. So it was nice. And the elephants were in a great mood. I don't know if that's a midweek thing. Is that a hump?
They're not normally in a good mood on the weekends?
Usually they hang out way back in the back. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if it was just because it was hump day. They was up in the front. You know what I'm saying? And they was feisty, man. They was feisty. So.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah, it was a good time. And like I said, other than that, we finished up Christmas, finished up New Year's, and then we've been back in here printing like freaking madmen and trying to get this place 100% set up so we can kind of show it off to y'all. We knew it was going to kind of be a crazy start to the year just because we had kind of taken that break and put some jobs to the beginning of January. But we've knocked out jobs in the last couple of weeks for everybody from SEPSA Shooting Academy. We got another order for 1904 Music Hall that just got knocked out the other night. We got another order coming in for Spliff's Gastropub. I believe something soon for Headroom Coffee Bar.
Underbelly.
Hellboy with Holy Smoke Records. So it's just been absolutely insane around here. A lot of just back-end work as obviously we're starting a new year and got to get all the accounting stuff figured out and taxes paid and everything else. So there's been a whole lot of just office work right here at the beginning, but we have knocked out in the last 2 weeks a lot of jobs. So
on top of doing all this.
Yeah, it's been exciting and it's been really cool to kind of get back into the shop after the break. We also have some really cool new stuff coming up with Grind Time. Some new designs that we've been working on for the actual Grind Time line that we're really excited to share with y'all. And just a whole bunch of other stuff. We have some special events that are coming up this year that we haven't really discussed a whole lot with y'all.
We haven't told you guys much.
And we're going to get into it a little bit more, but just know that we have a killer event scheduled here in Jacksonville in the summer. We're going to be doing something Grind Time related. It's going to involve some music, and we're going to throw a big event. We're going to have a cool thing, and then that's going to tie into us going back to Furnace Fest.
The other one.
Furnace Fest is the other big event this year. For those of y'all who knew last year, we went out to Furnace Fest.
Had a time of our lives.
A blast. We killed it out there.
Very nostalgic for us.
Met a lot of people from all over the country that were aware of who Grind Time was, and we would have never, ever even met them.
Some of you guys that are listening right now seen us out there.
Yeah,
cool.
It's pretty crazy. So we have planned to go back to Furnace Fest again this year. We'll be going out again with another tent, setting up all the Grind Time stuff, hanging out for the weekend. Throwing a party basically wherever we are. So y'all get ready. Birmingham in September, we shall be back.
Yes, we will.
So other than that, that's going to go ahead and move us on into the artist spotlight section of the podcast. All right. And for those of y'all who aren't aware of what the artist spotlight is, it's just a time where we take a second to shout out people doing cool stuff. We all get caught in the monotony of scrolling through our phones every day. We smash that like button when we see something that we think is cool, but who really sees it? Let's be real. Facebook and Instagram's not showing your crap to half the people that want to see it. So this is just a time where we take a second to say, Facebook, Instagram, screw you. We're showing it. Yeah. So here we go, y'all. Alan, why don't you go ahead and take it away with the Grind Time Together We Print podcast, Artist Spotlight.
Okay. Let's see. We are 211 and the word 11 spelled out. So 211 Street Apparel on Instagram. They're, a custom screen printing company. It's just one guy who started off kind of in his shop, or in his garage.
Sick.
He started off in his garage, from what I gather, on just like a little tabletop thing, and he's recently now got like a pretty big press now, and he's doing some pretty good artwork.
Yeah,
man.
the walls sick in the background.
He does a lot of collectibles, man. I noticed that, and I was like, oh, we would get along with this guy great. But I mean, a lot of his stuff is very similar to what we like and what we like to do.
I
And
love
he
this.
hustles by himself, and killing it, man, out of his garage. He's always doing
running
his,
specials and all sorts of stuff.
Doing the same things that we're doing, So, it's pretty cool. So, but yeah, on Instagram, the number 2, the word 11 spelled out, Street Apparel. Go give him a follow. Check him out. He's got some cool. His posts, his shirts. Order something from him. Let him know that the Grind Time guys sent you.
Yeah, absolutely. Check out 211. I believe the email is 211streetapparel@gmail.com. So go ahead and check that out. Hit him up and let him know that the Grind Time guys told you about him. It's going to go ahead and bring us over to a word from our sponsors. This is a second real quick, y'all, where if you're on the actual audio podcast, you'll hear us talking about our incredible sponsor, Allegiance Roof Systems. They are incredible. If you're in the Jacksonville area, you're looking for a new roof, make sure you reach out to Allegiance Roof Systems. That's who we trust with our roofs, and they're incredible. So make sure you reach out, and big thanks again to them for being a sponsor of Season 5 of the Together We Print podcast. Now we're going to loop this back in. You ready? All right, and we are back, y'all. Okay, so big thanks again to Allegiance Roof Systems, as always, for being such an incredible sponsor. And that's going to move us right on into our special guest introduction. We are very excited. This is a good friend of mine, frontman of Jacksonville Group Side Hustle, and one of the hosts of the Bottom of the Bill podcast, available on YouTube and Facebook. Please welcome Mr. Anton LaPlume.
Woo! Anton!
My guy.
What's going on, guys?
What's up, man?
Not much. Sorry, I had to put my sunglasses on because I have a really bright future. I don't know if you guys knew that about me.
Yeah, it's pretty bright in here. Sometimes I feel like I need to wear my sunglasses. I've even told him, I was like, man, I'm gonna get my sunglasses because this is just like, this is too much.
It also makes you look a lot cooler where you wear sunglasses
100%.
inside.
100%.
Yeah.
Always. Well, dude, how have things been?
They've been good, man. I can't complain. First off, congratulations on all the success you guys have been having with this, because as somebody who's doing a similar thing, I know how difficult this whole thing is, and it's admirable that you're able to make the whole thing happen. So
Thanks, man.
congratulations. Yeah,
We really appreciate that. Yeah, it is. It's been a long, trying time. Obviously, we've been at it for a while, but things are starting to kind of come together, and it's cool to actually get to have people in here now. I was on y'all's podcast. For those of y'all, like I said, who aren't aware, Anton and Billy have an incredible podcast called The Bottom of the Bill. It's available over on YouTube and Facebook. And, right as we were kind of starting to we had been in the podcasting thing for a little bit. I came on as an interview on your podcast, and that really was kind of like a big turning point for me in the podcast thing, because it really kind of made me want the guest interview thing. You know what I'm saying? And it was kind of just going on there and getting to hang out with y'all and having a couple different perspectives on things and some back and forth. It really kind of got me in the mindset, like, we need to get guest interviews going on Together We Print. So I thank you for that, because like I said, I don't know that I would have taken necessarily the step to do it had I not been on y'all's,
That means a lot, man. And can I also say that your upgrade of the janky casting couch, I feel attacked, I gotta say.
Oh, you know what? I didn't think about that. Ours was very casting couches. No, y'all's is nice. Y'all got a vibe in the room.
Not casting couches. Y'all's is very the vibe for what y'all are going for, because you're sitting on the couch, you guys are hanging out, having a few drinks. Like, it's way more. It's so chill and relaxed opposed to casting couches.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, we have to get you on the podcast.
Dude, I would love to.
That would be fun.
Love to do that.
For sure.
That would be cool. So, like I said, man, you play in a band, you play in a duo, you play acoustic shows. You sit in constantly around town with various different acts. I know now you're getting into video editing and everything else.
Yeah.
I mean, what is it that you're not doing at this point, Anton?
All of those things efficiently.
I get it, and that was kind of going to lead me into like my biggest question, because I feel like we like to talk about this, especially with people that stay busy like we do and have a lot going on. But like, what are some of like what are some of the tips and tricks you've kind of learned to trying to pull that balancing act? Because it really is a balancing act. You know what I'm saying? Trying to do that many things at one time and stay consistent and also good with them at the same time is not easy. What are some of the ways you pull it off?
I mean, when I'm excuse me, I have COVID.
Absolutely.
He
does not.
I don't have COVID. No, but at my best, I try and keep like a to-do list, and I schedule, a day for each thing, so that way I can kind of, divide. Otherwise, it gets too much to keep up with, and you get scattered, and then you forget that you're doing this thing or that thing. So in an ideal world, I will designate Monday to side hustle stuff, and then Tuesday to bottom of the bill stuff, and then Wednesday will be like a practice day. I mean, I try and practice a little bit every day.
Yeah.
And write and all that stuff too. That's when I'm working at my maximum efficiency, but I don't always keep that up. So
yeah, I get it. I get it.
Yeah, so I don't know. That's why I try to use just time management.
Yeah, and I've you and me have talked about it before, but that's really the only way I get anything accomplished is like having a list. Like if I didn't write everything down, I'd probably forget half of it because there's just so much stuff going on at one point in time. But it's always interesting. I've come to find that for me, and other people, my wife works much better off of just making notes in her phone. I have like a literal composition book with like numbers and dates written on it. I'm like, check this off my list. But it's really kind of the best way I've found to stay organized. But I do like the concept of, it's funny, as much as I try to constantly think about how more efficiently I can do things around here, I haven't really thought about so much designating like certain days towards one or two things at a time to kind of keep myself from having 10 things going on in a single day.
Right.
So I like that idea, and that's I might have to put that into effect for me.
Well, because for me, I have a hard time. I'm not a great multitasker, so I have a hard time just switching headspaces, So it's like when you're working on social media stuff, and then you remember like, oh shit, I gotta go and like record this part for this song.
Yeah.
Like you can't just like for me, I can't just flip the switch.
Yeah.
Or if I'm like handling the accounting for the band and my personal stuff, and there's a lot of like the finances you have to keep track of for the taxes and your records, and when you're dealing with all that stuff for 2 or 3 hours, and then it's like, well, I have to go practice now.
Yeah.
It's not gonna happen for me anyways.
Yeah.
So that's why I have to do different days for each thing, so I can just keep myself in the same headspace and really devote the time and attention that it deserves.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I'll tell you what, man. Let's start at the podcast, all right? Because we're on a podcast. Let's start talking about that a little bit. So, the kind of the concept of the podcast for those of y'all who don't know is y'all have a lot of special guest interviews on a lot of musicians. It seems mainly musicians. The podcast seems to be that's most of what y'all do, correct? Am I missing something?
Well, various careers within the industry. So
okay, cool.
Musicians, but yeah, like a lot of different people in the subsequent industry of the.
Sweet.
Yeah.
So where did that kind of idea spawn from? Because like I said, the for us, this was all started because we hit COVID and we had nothing else to do. It was kind of like we went from having jobs in the shop every single day to print to like having 1 or 2 jobs a week to print, and it was like, well, we're here all the time. How do we still continue to grow ourselves online while we're not actually able to do this? And obviously we're a screen printing company, so lining up with the screen printing idea worked out. But then the podcast has kind of grown into not just a screen printing related thing at this point. So, but when did you and Billy kind of, and how did that kind of come about? Y'all had this idea to start this podcast.
So Billy and I have an interesting dynamic. For those who are aware, and if you're not aware, we have it's hard for some people to watch, but it's fun. We have an interesting banter. So when we were on the road, we listen to a lot of podcasts when we're driving and stuff, So specifically comedians, and so it's like we can do this, Bill. Like you and I, we have a thing that kind of works like this. I think we can do this, but we didn't have any time because we were so busy with the road stuff, and we were starting to put the album in the works, and so there was just no time. And then COVID hit, so I was like, we're not doing anything right now, and
same thought we had.
Yeah, like we're not touring, we're not like there's nothing to do. So what are we gonna do to keep Side Hustle relevant, right?
Yeah.
So we decided to do this thing, and we wanted to base it around music because the other part of this is that it's hard to make it in a music career when you're not existing within the ecosystem of those major industry cities like LA, Nashville, New York, right? But today we have so many of these tools at our disposal, and I think the only thing stopping from any city to operating in that capacity is just the education on how they actually work.
Yep.
So I do a lot of research on these things because I, hate playing bars for a living.
Yeah.
I just don't like it. So and I think that a lot of people in these towns, they get comfortable doing that thing because it's a quick paycheck. And then also just the opportunity is not so obvious to people that you can do this. You can pursue it in a different way.
Yeah.
So I wanted to kind of shed a light on that, on what that grind looks like. So artists aren't writing music and playing them at bars hoping that they're going to get discovered in Jacksonville, Florida. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, we know that's not happening anytime soon right now.
But you can build your brand here, right? You can build your business here. And with social media, you can create brand awareness across the board.
Yeah.
And now you're seeing bands popping up out of all kinds of towns that are just they exist in the periphery, So we wanted to help educate musicians on what we're learning about,
Yeah, and I know you and me had talked now. We talked on the Bottom of the Bill podcast a little bit about just social media and like it developing as being a musician or being a business in any form, and how you can use those social media tools to kind of get yourself out there. Because realistically, 20 years ago, you write a song and the only people that heard it were like the people that got to hear it when you played gigs out in town most of the time. You know what I'm saying? Right. Now we could record a 3-minute song right here before you left, and we could have it on iTunes tomorrow. So it's kind of a crazy concept, but I know that we had talked about, and I've seen you utilizing it actually quite a bit, and I wanted to bring it up because Alan is my TikTok guru. Okay, and I've seen you've been TikToking. Yeah, you've been taking that TikTok train, and you've been doing it, dude.
Hopping on it?
I've been on it.
He's been on it, bro.
I don't have that many followers yet, so if you're
on
TikTok,
shout it out.
Follow me.
Tell him your TikTok.
Anton the Plume, and also Side Hustle Band, and Bottom of the Bill is starting a TikTok this week too. So follow.
I will tell you, dude, it gets a lot to manage more than 1 or 2 TikTok pages.
Oh, trust me, I know. I manage Side Hustles and mine.
I have mine, Southpaws, Adversaries, Grind Times, and my brother's dog.
The only thing he posts to, though, are his brother's dog and him. So it's not that much to manage.
I think there's some fat to trim there, to be honest with you.
Oh, yeah. I've slacked off on a lot of it, to be honest with you. But, like, I know I've just gotten lazy with it recently because with everything else going on. But, like, if you need any tips or tricks or anything like that, dude, I got you, bro.
I remember I hadn't even I pride myself on liking to think that I'm like very up to date on all the new social media things, and I know what's working and what's not. And I remember Alan coming in here like TikTok, and I was just like,
"What?
Nah,
no,
dude,
dude,
I ain't into no TikTok."
Dude, it is the #1 social media platform
in
the world.
Then he came in. It may be 3 weeks later, a month later, 2 months later, and he's like, "Yo, I got 10,000 followers on TikTok." And I'm like, what the heck are you talking about? I was like, you post pictures of you like shirtless in front of the mirror singing like old songs and stuff, right? Like you do like weird stuff on TikTok. He's like, yeah, bro, but I'm blowing up. I'm like, yeah, that you are.
No, that is not.
10,000 followers, bro.
Then.
Yeah.
As of right now, I'm sitting at 30,000.
Blow your mind?
Are we allowed to cuss in the show?
You can say whatever the fuck you want.
Motherfucker. Here's the thing about TikTok, and congratulations on that, by the way, as well.
I haven't posted in like 2 months.
No.
Oh, well, yeah, that's I understand the hesitancy towards TikTok. I get that it's lame and it's cheesy and it's the whole thing.
Yeah.
But we live in 2022, and
Yeah.
if you want to be a musician or if you
want to be relevant, you got to stay up to
in
date
any
on what is
capacity.
going on.
Absolutely. And if you look at the data, okay, first off, I saw about a year ago, this is when I knew I needed to hop on the TikTok train. Sony signed like a $50 billion deal with TikTok to music licensing rights.
Okay.
Not to mention that 87% of new consumers are finding their music through
From
TikTok. So
There
we look
you
at
go.
that. We look at that data. As an artist, you can't say fuck that. Like, I
No,
wanna
no,
be-
for sure.
Like if you wanna really be competitive in the international music industry, you have to compete on the platforms and in the way that's in the way to compete in 2022.
Yeah,
Yes, right.
absolutely.
So that's why I got on TikTok. We didn't grow up in the age of
No.
documenting your life on your phone
No.
every second. It's a complete adjustment, learning
Yeah.
curve in the whole thing, right?
Yep.
Right.
But I mean, but part of being an artist in general is just stepping out of your comfort zone. Whether you're learning a
yeah.
new genre of music, whether you're going on the road, whether you're taking on new responsibilities, whatever it might be, it's all about learning and growing. And this is just one more skill set, and it really puts so much more of the end result in your hands.
Yeah.
You know, you just
Yeah.
have the vision to create the content and then just make it all happen. you know?
My initial process, like when I started TikTok, was like, I'm gonna do whatever I can do to help further what I have going on in my life, whether it be grind time or adversaries or whatever endeavor I had. And then I slowly came to realize that nobody gave a shit about any of that on there, and all they wanted me to do was take my shirt off in front of the camera. Because I found out real quickly that dad bods is like a huge thing.
Big thing.
And yeah, so that's what blew up my channel.
I'm just waiting
was-
for him to get to 50,000 followers, and then we'll start writing grind time on his chest when he takes off the shirt. You know what I'm saying? I'll be like, we're giving you what you want, and we're taking what we need.
Bro, I'm telling you. You know, and it's cool when you can run multiple channels like that because you can use them as cross promotion.
Yeah,
platforms, you know?
absolutely.
But I will tell you that the biggest thing that I've learned with TikTok is like once you figure out what your niche is, that is all TikTok will put you in.
Yep.
Because you can't do comedy ones and then music ones and then do these ones, because whatever TikTok feels like you don't really get to choose your niche. You kind of just try a bunch of different things until one day one of your
Something
videos
works.
explodes.
Yeah.
That's now your niche.
Well-
because it's really hard to differentiate from that. You can still get views off of some of your other little things, but nowhere near the views that you're gonna get off of what TikTok thinks you should be doing.
So
You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally, and that makes sense. I think that, and you obviously know much better than I do because I have like 70 followers on TikTok, right?
Oh, well.
But like, I think that there's a way where you can establish what your brand is, right? And so like for me, with the brand that I want to put across on TikTok for myself, anyways, is to obviously like push my music and my abilities as more specifically a guitar player.
Yeah.
But then also give some quick, professional tips on how to be.
I feel like that
musician.
still goes
Yeah.
hand in hand together.
right?
Yeah,
Yep.
that's
So-
still good. And you and don't differentiate from those.
Right.
Because
Well-
if you try to do something funny or something else, it will not. You'll get like 3 views.
Well-
Like, it's crazy.
Right.
And I mean that's kind of similar to like any other social media program, right? So like
Right,
everybody's got
exactly.
the algorithm, and it's like when you've got on the algorithm and everybody's viewing your shit, then the site's pushing you harder to everyone else, you know?
Right.
So it's interesting, but yeah, I noticed that you were doing a lot of it, and like I said, I've come around much more to it in the last year or so, but it was one of those things where I remember talking about it on the Bottom of the Bill podcast, and like I said, Alan was TikTok crazy
I
for a
also
minute.
think that what kind of did it for you too is like one day I was like, let's go live on TikTok. He's like, why what live? Why
We
would
went
do that?
live and
I'm
talked
like-
in the
I'm
studio,
like,
yeah.
Let's go live while we're screen printing, dude. And so like we're screen printing, we're interacting with people, and when by the time it got over with, I was like, yo, guess how many people like was in our live like hanging out? He's like, how many? I was like, several hundreds or like a couple thousand or something. He was
Yeah,
like-
while we were
he
hanging
was like,
out.
what? And I was like, yeah, dude.
Yeah,
Right.
it's obviously it's a major tool, and now I mean it's not going anywhere anytime soon. It's a really cool thing, but like I said, I was excited to see that you were kind of doing that because, like I said, I don't see many other musicians in town doing it. You
Yeah,
know
right.
what I'm saying? Like
That's the reason why we're doing Bottom of the Bill, and the reason why I work so. I spend so much time on Instagram and TikTok, really more so Instagram right now. But like, because I want to show people that this is how you have to do it, and it makes it hard in this in a town like this also, because even the consumer's not really using those platforms.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what makes it really difficult. But I mean, I don't know. I'm a firm believer that you just got to keep going for it.
Yeah,
and,
absolutely.
You know, as much shit as people might talk about what I'm doing, or think that it's cheesy, or think that I'm like got my.
You just gotta let it go, dude.
It doesn't
Who
even
cares?
fucking matter.
Who cares?
Man. It's like I don't even see that shit.
Yep.
I just keep my eyes on the prize and keep doing what I'm doing.
How often are you posting on there?
On TikTok,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm trying to do it. I mean, I know you gotta do like every day, but I'm trying to do it at least a couple times a week right now until I establish. I need to backlog content too.
If you want,
Yeah,
if
yeah.
you want your channel to just blow up out of nowhere, I mean, dude, as hard as it is, post every single day. Does not matter. As long as you're following your relevance of your content, post every day. Within 2 weeks of posting every day, one video will explode.
Yeah.
Yeah,
None
I'm
of them
pretty
will.
sure. I mean,
I'm doing that. I'm doing, just even if you're just like a quick just talking, just
But
Yeah,
all
yeah,
the
yeah,
things
something
that
just
matter,
little short.
lighting, angles, the audio quality, the quality you're shooting it in,
all
like
of that matters.
every single thing of that matters completely, dude, because it's crazy. It's like going into a full production on your phone.
It is, and what's funny to me is it started to cross into, obviously we're dealing with it on YouTube now, so like the TikTok concept of like these minute-long short videos
Right.
has now crossed into, you got Instagram's got like the stories and the reels and all that other stuff.
Facebook now has the videos.
Yep,
now.
YouTube's now got shorts. You know, which has become a big thing, a huge thing. Like, it's crazy to me how many shorts are being put up and how many views are going on them. So I think I like the idea of easily digestible content, right?
Yeah.
So, like, as a consumer, if you sit down on your phone and you pull open TikTok, instead of, like, going to YouTube and watching one 20-minute YouTube video, you can now consume 20 different pieces of content in the same exact amount of time.
Right.
You know, which is a nice concept. And I feel like, obviously, we're headed in that direction as you kind of see the younger generation's attention span not being quite, at least I noticed, not being quite the same as it seems like it was when we were kids.
Right.
You know?
Totally.
15 seconds. Those 15 seconds on TikTok, dude. Some people can't even do 3 to 5 seconds.
Yeah,
Yeah, totally.
it's funny
I'm
to
one of those
me
people.
how fast. Yeah, and that's one of those things where it's been interesting to see how it's kind of developed and how it's worked its way into all of the other social media platforms.
Yes.
It's pretty much the same concept,
that's the whole
right?
thing
It's
is TikTok had it, and then all of a sudden now you've seen Instagram had it. Then all of a sudden
Yeah.
you've seen Facebook had it. Now
Yeah.
you see YouTube has shorts. Like, they all seen what TikTok was doing and the relevance that it was making, and everybody had to jump on.
Exactly. Look, if Instagram and Facebook, if those monoliths of corporations saw a model that was working and said, we need to do that, I think that as a local musician, you should probably follow suit.
Follow
Yeah,
suit,
yeah,
right?
100%.
For sure.
It's
Yeah,
like-
yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
I don't know.
No, totally agree. Okay, and then since we'll get back a little bit to the podcast, because like I said, I definitely wanted to discuss TikTok a little bit. But what has been, for us, getting this going, and obviously, scheduling guests has been an interesting part of it. Making sure we have the calendar laid out right and everybody's here at the right times and we're not messing anything up. Everything's going 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 messing. Oh no, looks like we hit a rough patch here of internet signal.
Oh.
All of a sudden.
Are we still recording?
I don't know.
My
We are recording in Logic, so we can pick that right back up, the video portion.
Live is not ended.
I just want to make sure. Sorry, y'all. We're going to try and make the
A little quick difficulty.
computer beeped at me for the first time ever.
Never heard that.
Looks like it's still going live. I know there's a bit of a lag, but
Is there?
It's kind of paused at the moment. Yeah, on YouTube.
Really?
Looks like it's just paused for a second.
Okay.
Waiting to see if it kicks back in.
I mean, we just keep going. Either way, it's going to keep going in Logic. I think it'll probably pick back up. It'll probably just hit a slow spot in the internet.
Could have been.
That's going to be another reason for a PC
yeah.
and an Ethernet. Okay. So yeah, I'm just gonna keep this thing moving because it doesn't seem. I mean, everything's still going. It ain't beeping at me right now.
Yeah,
So
I mean, you can still hear everything, right?
all right. So like I said, what has been some of the, or where I was getting to is what's been some of the biggest struggles for you as far as the podcast goes? Because obviously we have a few here. I mean, you ran into some today. Like you're showing up and I'm doing this all on a laptop right now, not on a PC. So everything has to be plugged up as it come in, and then I got to make sure everything's set right and everything, but what are some of the struggles and that y'all faced and some of the ways y'all been able to kind of overcome those?
I mean, I think that number one, just like the time management, I think is a big part of it.
Yeah.
Because, we try and do them every week, and, with Side Hustle being as busy as we are, especially with the album having been released, it was just, just keeping the momentum going. And then there's also the aspect of how do you make money doing this thing, right? And,
Yeah.
I mean, and it's easy to say that you know how to do it, like, because the logic all makes sense, right? But there's a certain skill set that you have to kind of acquire to get people to want to give you money for your thing.
Yeah.
So really keeping track of data in order and making sense of it all.
Yep.
To try and pitch to people to get money to invest back into the business and get better microphones and better cameras and just kind of make it a better watching and listening experience for the listener overall.
Yeah.
And then finding guests is also difficult. People cancel last minute, and that's a struggle because then you can't do the podcast or whatever it might be. It's just, it hurts with consistency and keeping the stuff going on your platforms,
Absolutely.
So the whole thing has been a complete learning curve. I don't know what the most difficult part of it's been for me. Billy handles all the tech stuff on it, so
That's like Chris for when
Yeah.
it comes to that stuff, dude. I got no idea.
yeah, it's stuff that I'm like slowly learning about because I've had to.
Yeah.
Recently especially, but like just I mean that's not like all that stuff. Like I have like the vision and I can like put the wheels in motion and put all the pieces together.
Right.
I'm just not the guy that's gonna be pushing the buttons,
Yeah. I understand that. And eventually, but man, it would be so nice to.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. And, another thing that's been difficult with the podcast, I think, really, and probably the hardest part is just envisioning the brand as a whole. Like, we know what we want to be doing, but how do we make it visually look like on YouTube,
Yeah.
Instagram, and how do we create it? How do we make it look consistent across the platforms? And like what thumbnails are getting the most views?
Yes.
And, like that,
Right.
and
Thumbnails is a big deal, dude.
That's big.
And then like I had to like learn Photoshop from scratch. I had no insane process.
This dude, he had to learn how to do Photoshop and Adobe. Like,
Yeah, I had Illustrator, Photoshop. I had never used any of them to any sort of degree, and
It's
it was
overwhelming,
just, It's
right?
a lot. It's a lot.
oh, I watched how much he was doing it, and at first it was like, we're both gonna learn to screen print. We're both gonna learn to do the computer stuff. We're both gonna after he learned it all, I was like, I'm not the one.
Like, I'm good.
Not for me,
I'm
bro.
good.
Now I like that side of it because my whole thing is I like being creative. Right?
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
I think that if you look at everything that you do in this side of in this industry outside of music as being creative, so something like Photoshop was cool because
Right.
even though I don't like putting the buttons and being a tech person, it is very creative in the sense that you can do a lot with the with
Oh, dude,
pictures.
it's
and
Oh, yeah,
stuff,
absolutely.
So it's cool to just kind of push the envelope and see what you can create with what you have.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, since we've been talking about the podcast, and I mentioned it a little bit, but tell everyone where they can find the podcast. Make sure that they're catching it on all y'all social media handles.
Yeah, totally. YouTube. We're on YouTube. We're on Spotify. We're on Instagram. It's bottom_of_the bill or the underscore bill yeah. So and then we're we're right now.
Absolutely cool. That's what's up. Well, sweet. So that's gonna bring me on into let's see what I got here next. All right, so musical projects, right?
Yeah.
So we gotta talk about musical projects. You play guitar, you sing in a number of different formations, realistically, because you got the band, you got the duo thing. I think you do with Chelsea, right?
Yeah, sometimes.
Sometimes you do solo gigs. I've seen in the past. So
Yeah.
it's kind of one of those things where I'm always fascinated with being a musician. I'm always fascinated with the origin story. So how did music kind of get started for you? Was that a family thing that you kind of grew into, or how did that work?
Yeah, my dad is a musician. He's a bass player and would bring bands throughout the 70s and 80s and 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 London.
Dude,
Oh
that is
man,
so
that's
dope.
sick. Yeah.
Chris Squire, the bass player from Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Produced their record.
Oh wow.
My
Sick.
the drummer in my dad's band went on to play drums for the Romantics, which is they wrote that song. That's what I like about you.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like these.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like
We're just gonna keep going.
cool. So
Okay.
those are the people that I grew up around, you know. So that I started playing classical piano when I was a kid, like 5 to 10 years old, and then you would never guess now is I'm a terrible pianist. But then I started playing guitar when I was around 14, and instantly just became more into the songwriting aspect of it more than anything else.
Yeah.
You know, I wasn't like the person that was learning like Stevie Ray Vaughan licks note for
Oh
note.
yeah.
I was
learn to write songs.
exactly. That's all. And then I started doing stuff later, right? But at first it was all about just writing stuff. And so yeah, that's kind of what the origin story
Where it
was.
go out of. Yeah. Well, and I know having some technical difficulties, folks. Okay, it's gone. So I know that you moved to Jacksonville, if I remember correctly, years back from like South Florida area where you were from, right? Or you had lived for a while. So what are some of the biggest differences? Obviously, South Florida's got like some bigger cities. I mean, Jacksonville's a big city land area wise, but like spread out wise, but not so much like big city feel. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's a small town, big city, small town kind of thing, you know.
What are some of the biggest differences you've noticed from down south's music scene to coming up to Jacksonville's music scene?
Well, number one, the Jacksonville music scene just overall is extremely supportive. I mean,
Yeah.
like, it was, I spent my whole life in South Florida, and then when I started playing music, trying to get plugged in to just hear people call for gigs and musicians and blah blah blah. So in that respect, it's a lot more supportive here.
Okay.
The diversity in culture down there, though, adds this element to the arts that's really hard to match.
Yeah.
Like really anywhere else, not just
Yeah.
in Jacksonville, just in general across the board. Miami in particular has its own thing going on.
Yeah.
So I miss kind of that aspect.
Yeah.
But it's a lot geographically being the way that it is, you get stuck down there. So there's not really a lot of touring bands.
Yeah.
You got a lot of side guys for big pop artists that live down there and that
Yep.
might play some of the clubs in South Beach and stuff.
So pretty much like you're down south playing. You pretty much only play down south. Like
That's what a lot
A lot of musicians get caught in that loop kind of thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
not to say there's not some people doing some stuff. I mean, surprisingly enough, the blues scene down there, which is a scene that I was kind of plugged into. I got picked up when I was like 24 by this blues band, and we went on the road and traveled all around the country in Canada and all that stuff for a year. And the blues scene down there has a lot of element. It's a lot of that element. It's a lot of has a lot of that element. It's a lot of has a lot of that element. It's a lot of has a lot of that element. It's a lot of has a lot of that element. It's a lot of bands. Like Broward County, it's kind of wild to think about Fort Hill being the way that it is. There's not really one ticketed music venue or an upcoming local band in that region of South Florida.
Yeah. I remember Sport playing in West Palm Beach at a place one time. I know I've seen other people playing there. I'm going to blank on the name of the venue, but it was like we got down there, and obviously lots of money in West Palm Beach, and the downtown's pretty cool. But there was still this little hole in the wall kind of. I mean, it was nice inside. Don't get me wrong, but it was still a bar that was made for 100 to 200, 300 people max, and it was like the local bands were playing there. That's who we played with. Were local touring bands, you know.
It's weird, man, because there's so much diversity in between the Tri-County area, and a lot of art. And a lot of established pop artists and people that they actually like live in these areas, but they just didn't bring the industry with them.
Gotcha.
Right?
Yeah.
It's like you have the Hit Factory there, which is one of the huge recording studios.
Yep.
Justin Timberlake. I mean, like you name it.
Yeah.
Everyone records there, right? But there's just there's no infrastructure like big agencies and management companies and PR and marketing firms that are specifically working within the music industry.
Yeah.
Like all that, it's just void of all that, which makes it really hard
as
an artist to kind of.
Yeah, I could imagine for sure.
Not to mention the cost of living is fucking crazy.
Yeah, it's insane. Yeah, that's one thing I definitely noticed. The couple of times I've been down to Miami and met people, it's just so expensive.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, that it's crazy to me how expensive South Florida can be, being from Jacksonville. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, wow, we got it pretty good up here.
Totally.
So.
But I mean, some of the best musicians in the world are down there. Man.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's so like just it's so ubiquitous. Like you go anywhere and you see world musicians, which happens here in Jacksonville too. But it's just there's so many more people down there. University of Miami is one of the top music colleges in the country. There's talent, man. So it's just like it's different. I definitely, for me, like here better. It works for touring and it works for cost of living.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm able to establish myself in the capacity that I want to at the moment.